Hi there, my name is Cynthia Wakeo. I'm the Communication and Events Manager here at Corporate Staffing Services. Today we're going to be taking you through a step-by-step process of how you can get a job through Corporate Staffing Services. I am joined by our recruitment head, Mr. Paminas Wainaina, who's going to tell us more about this. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Cynthia, for having me.
All right.
Yeah.
Tell us more about the step-by-step process of how someone can get a job through CSS.
Great. Now, on a day-to-day basis, we have very many professionals interested with our recruitment service. So whether they are looking for their first job or they are looking to get to that next level, they do approach us, and they approach us by in two ways. Number one, either uploading their CV on our platform or applying for any of our job, because we share our job across many platforms. So, and that's the time they get to know us. So the question that behind their back is, what's the next step? What does it take to get a job through Corporate Staffing Services? So as one of the founders and the head of the recruitment, as you've described, today I would want to explain the process so that if you've just applied for a job or you've uploaded your CV on our platform, you can be able to understand what comes after. Yeah. So if you've applied for a job, then that means you normally get an alert and saying that we've received your CV. So if you look at your inbox, you'll see there's an email from Corporate Staffing Services. And that's an assurance that we've received your application and now we are processing it. So when you receive your application, then there's a team that looks at your CV and they compare it with the requirements of the employer. Because remember, our work is to represent the employer and to match you with a job which is a good fit. So we compare the two. Now, should you meet, I would say 70 to 80% of the requirements, then you get to the next stage. And the next stage is you getting to meet us, where we have a one-on-one conversation. Who is Cynthia? What have you done? What is your salary expectations? And what are you looking for? So one of our staff members will reach out to you, and they'll call you for an engagement. So it can either be a one-on-one meeting at our office, or it can be online, depending on the position that you're being interviewed. So after you come for the interview, then we are able to discuss more about the job, about what the job entails. And if we get to see that you're a good fit, we let you know who the client is, what they are looking for, and even additional details about the next stage, which is the interview stage. So after the interview, we will do a report to our client. We will share the report with our client. And for the candidates, we normally recommend between, if it's a mid-level to entry-level position, we normally recommend between 5 to 7 candidates. If it's a very senior position, general manager, head of department, we normally recommend not more than 3 candidates. Yeah. So we recommend the best candidate to our client, and the client, sometimes they'll give us feedback. They'll tell us, Paminas, go get more. Or I'm okay with the people with the candidates that you've shared. So the next step now is we do facilitate, we assist our clients on the next stage, which is an interview. So one of our staff members, they'll call you and they'll tell you, oh, now the client wants to see you for the second interview now. So, and we facilitate that. So we'll make communication, we'll call you, we'll do an email giving you more additional information, and then you meet the client now for the second interview. Now, after you meet the client for the second interview, normally now the client takes over from that stage. However, should you have any question, you can reach out to the account manager, the person who interviewed you, and they'll be able to help you. Yeah. So I would say that's the process. And within the process, we get to advise you about the client, we get to advise you about the salary, we get to advise you about the benefits, we get to advise you about the industry. So we want to empower you, because remember, you are also our client. And let me emphasize that at this stage, we don't charge you anything. Even when you get at the job, it's the employer who pays us. Your work is just to turn up for the interview and you do a good job. Now, there are 2 questions people ask me, and maybe, I don't know whether you had prepared, but I'll still go ahead. So the first question they ask me is, how soon can I get a job? And the answer is, we can't determine that. It's possible you might have even uploaded your CV with us, and tomorrow we get a position which is a good fit. So it can be as early as the next 1 hour, or you can stay even for 1 year and above. That's because it all depends with the request that we get from the employer. Then the other question I get is sometimes someone will tell me, Paminas, I keep applying for jobs at your organization and I don't get called for an interview. Now, there are two reasons why that might be the case. Number one is, are you applying for the right job? In fact, there are three reasons. So number one is, are you applying for the right job? And I always advise candidates, it's not about the quantity of the jobs, it's about the quality. So you better in a month just apply for 2 or 3 positions, which you know you meet 70 to 80% of the requirements. As opposed to always being on job sites and applying to kubahatisha. No, that doesn't work. Yeah. Second reason is also when you apply, you might be the most qualified person, you might have all the qualification, everything. But in this era, you find most employers, not just corporate staffing services, they will normally process applications as they come. What does that mean? If I put a job advert today, let's say 8 a.m., chances are by noon, by lunch hour, there's someone already looking at the applications that have come. There's already someone going through our database to see, do we have someone qualified? Because speed is of essence. So Cynthia, if you come to our website, you see the job, it's advertised on a Monday and the closing date was on a Friday, and you decide, me, I'll apply on Thursday because I'm so busy. Chances are you might miss that opportunity because there are people who applied on that Monday, Tuesday, and by Tuesday evening, we were done with the shortlisting. So you might come and wonder, but I was qualified, I have everything. Yeah, so I would say, whether it's corporate staffing services or other institutions, please note that time is of essence. Yeah. The third reason is, how are you presenting yourself?
Yeah.
Now, it's a competitive market. That's the reality. Whether you're an accountant, whether you're in HR, whether you're in IT, whether you're looking for an NGO job, the reality is the days are long gone where we would only be 50 or 60 of us looking for that job. So to say, the way you package yourself in terms of your CV is very, very important, especially if you have experience, because it's about the first impression. So here, what I would recommend, there are two things I would recommend. Ask your friends. Look at my CV. What do you think about it? Look at your CV and compare it with the job advert. Does it strike a balance? Can someone look at it and see you're a good fit? And if you don't want a professional opinion, we do offer free CV review. We don't charge you, give you feedback. Yeah. So to say, those are the three reasons why most of the professionals, sometimes they feel, it's been 6 months, or I keep applying for jobs and I'm not going anywhere. Yeah. So to say, there are many reasons why you couldn't be getting somewhere, but most of the time, it starts with you. Yeah.
You've given us such an enormous breakdown, which is very significant when we're talking about the process.
Yeah.
So let's talk about feedback. Do the recruitment managers from corporate staffing give unsuccessful and successful candidates feedback?
Great. That's a very good question. Now, we do have two types of applicants. Applicant number one ni wale wanabahatisha, the ones trying. Now, most of the times, you'll not be able to give you feedback or to everyone who applies for the job. Because you find there are people who, for sure, they applied for the long job, or they just saw our email address and they were trying. Yeah. However, for the candidates that we meet for the first interview, because not everyone we meet will go to the next stage. For those ones, we sure do give them feedback. Feedback can sometimes even be during the interview. We can tell you, oh, Cynthia, yes, we can see you're a good fit, but the client they want someone from this industry. And unfortunately, there's not much you can do about it. It's the client's request. So for example, you might be working for an NGO, but the client wants someone from the manufacturing. So we might call you for an interview, but we'll tell you, okay, you may not be in the first category, but if the client is flexible, we'll be in the second category. So we do give feedback, and definitely the ones who go and even meet the client, we give them feedback. Now, sometimes you find we'll interview you, but things also delay on the client side. Maybe the MD has traveled or the HR is out of the office. Some things happen after we've shared CVs with the client. So what we do then is also just update you, let you know that we've shared the CV, the client hasn't interviewed, they're still interested. Because sometimes it can go even beyond 1 or 2 months. depending on issues which are beyond the client's control. Yeah, but the important thing is to keep the candidate updated, and also they can also even call us back should they feel there's something they would want to find out. Yeah.
And you mentioned about empowering candidates with CV writing, but you also mentioned other things, the two things why the CVs don't stand out.
Yeah.
Do you empower candidates to go maneuver those problems?
Yes, we do assist candidates because one thing I came to know, and obviously I'm older than you and hopefully wiser.
Yes.
You'll find that a lot of times the fact that, for example, you're a communication expert does not know you know how to sell yourself.
Yeah.
And that's where the CV comes in. We were never taught. There's no one who went to school to be taught how to write CVs. There's no one who went to school to be taught how to handle interviews, how to brand themselves. All these are skills.
Yeah.
So I highly encourage professionals. If you can get an expert opinion, it would really help.
Yeah.
And that is why if you come to us, if you go for interviews and you don't make it for one reason or another, I guess it's time to seek an expert, and that's a service we offer.
Yeah.
Even for your CV, that's an additional service we offer. So yes, you've raised an important question, and I believe the more expert feedback we get, the better. I always give this example. If you own a car and the car has a mechanical problem, do you take it to a doctor, or who do you take it to?
A mechanic.
A mechanic, yes. Why? Because the doctor will not be able to help you. Also, don't come to me if you have a health issue. I can't be able to help you.
Yeah.
So it's the same case with career matters. Spare that 1 hour. Come talk to us. We open up, we help you. And visiting our office, it's free. Apply for that job, it's free. Yeah, but before you do all that, get to understand where you're coming from, who you are, how you're packaging yourself in terms of your CV.
Yeah. And how do I get these job updates from Corporate Staffing?
For the people who are watching this and they had seen adverts through other sources, the first step is come, visit on our website. You'll see the CV uploading page. It's free of charge. You upload your CV, we have it in the database. And the minute we have a job, you'll get to know in the next 30 minutes or at most 1 hour. So you always know the updates that we have from Corporate Staffing Services. And then we go beyond the jobs. We send you tips on CVs, tips on interviews, career advice, everything that you need to really, I would say, get to that next level.
Yeah. Okay. As we wrap up, any advice to a candidate watching this?
My advice is that job search, career growth, it's more of a marathon. It's not a sprint. Don't look at job search. Remember Usain Bolt? He would run the 100 meters in less than 10 seconds? Yeah. So even when it comes to job search, I believe the more ready you are, the better. And be patient. Yeah. Because there are a lot of things that happen when it comes to job search. And you don't want you to really be affected in a negative way. So be patient, get to understand that this thing, it takes time. In fact, even to get that job you are looking for, that ideal job. But in the meantime, ask yourself, what can I do? Can I look at my CV, edit it here? Can I also go to YouTube? And we do have a channel. They can come watch videos on how to pass interviews. Or can I go subscribe to a blog and learn about, get career advice? Yeah. So the more empowered you are, the better you'll be able to perform. When that opportunity comes, you presenting yourself to a potential employer. Yeah. So be patient. It does work. On a regular basis, every month we publish success stories of candidates who've gotten jobs through us. And I'll tell you, majority of them, 99.9%, are people we don't even know. They just applied for a job just like you. And some of them, I remember there's someone who said, well, Corporate Staffing has had my CV for more than 3 years. And this is the first time they've called me for an interview. Yeah, and the others who, they saw a job on LinkedIn. So it was their first time. They didn't even know Corporate Staffing. They applied and they were called for an interview 3 days later. And they got the job. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to take us through that elaborate process.
Yeah.
I think what has stood out for me is how transparent the process is.
Yes.
So thank you for that.
Thank you too.
Thank you so much for watching this video. As you've heard from our experts, ensure that you remember to apply for a job as soon as you see it. Ensure that you're 70 to 80% qualified for the job. And remember, be patient. We'll reach out to you as soon as you qualify for a job. Thank you so much and see you next time.